Welcome to the Workology podcast, where we discuss the science and art of the workplace, gain powerful insights, resources, and perspectives on the industries of human resources and recruiting. Join your host, Jessica Miller-Merrill, chief blogger of bloggingforjobs.com, for an in-depth and no-holds-barred look into the future of our most powerful business asset, the employee. And now, welcome your host, Jessica, with this podcast episode of Workology.
Hello and welcome to this special edition of the Workology podcast. This is our third annual series diving into the most innovative and interesting new HR technologies in preparation for the HR Technology Conference. I talk to 3 different founders or CEOs in 10-minute lightning interviews, giving you quick insights into some of the newest and most innovative HR tech you probably haven't even heard about. One of the reasons for the need of HR technologies is the focus on business processes within the HR and talent acquisition function. And it's what I'm living and breathing every day in my new role. Processes are essential as organizations look to streamline, standardize, or scale their organizations. And we're living in an economy that's strong, and smart businesses are taking advantage of HR tech to improve their HR business and function. So for this series, we're going to talk a little bit about processes, improving them, and then also insert some new interesting technologies into the mix that you might not have even thought about. So please welcome for my first interview to the Workology podcast, Jeremy Ames. He's the president and founder of Hive Tech HR. Welcome to the Workology podcast, Jeremy.
Thanks, Jessica. Happy to be here.
So talk a little bit about your background and how you arrived and came to work in human resources technology.
So, I started out in systems themselves. I've had a long career in overall information technology, did some consulting work, and then I worked for what really started my entry into the HR tech space was I worked for one of the HR software vendors. So I got a really up close view of how that operated, and that kind of got me inspired to start my own company doing the servicing of the HR technology.
So talk a little bit about Hive Tech HR and what you guys do.
Yeah, so we are kind of like a full life cycle consulting shop. So we help companies find their systems. So when you've identified a need for a new system, maybe your existing system is antiquated and you need something to replace it, we help you find that. We actually do a bunch of work on implementations, as you said. So we help basically plug it in, get it all set up for you, do the data migration, do the project management, some of the change management, make it to the point where it's ready to be used. And then the third component of what we do is we have something we call Phase Next, which is you have a system in place and we're helping you basically get more out of that system. So you might need some new functionality, a new module, adding performance management, adding a new report, ACA reporting, whatever it might be, a new integration. That's another component of what we do, the third piece of it.
What do you think is the most challenging part of the HR technology process when you think about the practitioner who's purchasing a new piece of HR tech?
Biggest thing is knowing what you need. There's a lot of ambiguity going on right now as far as systems that do different things, whether they include benefits, whether they include payroll, finance. So there's a lot of confusion going on as to which systems have what components. In the talent management area, there's a ton of confusion as to what constitutes a talent management suite and how integrated it needs to be with other parts of your system. So it's really that upfront analysis on what you actually need and how that fits with the systems that are out there in the market that companies tend to need help on.
So you're going to be an HR tech, and you and I have been to many different HR technology conferences. What advice do you have for maybe somebody who's coming to HR tech that is looking to purchase maybe a suite or a point system? How should they go about navigating the expo hall and the thousands upon thousands of vendors that are all there with their shiny objects trying to get our attention?
Yeah, you know as well as I have, we've tried to help with that in the past by doing tours of the vendor hall, just because it's so confusing and it's so difficult to navigate. You really need to go in there with a game plan. I mean, we've gone as far as to, before the client even steps, or not the client, but the company even sets foot in the expo hall, knowing what your requirements are. What types of systems are you looking for? Are you looking for a core HR system? Are you looking for payroll? Are you looking for a talent acquisition system? And even beyond that, like things like, what is your tolerance to new technologies? That might impact whether you go into the new technologies area to look around, or if you just kind of go to some of the bigger standbys with the giant booths that have companies have been around forever. So really coming in before you even set foot in there, having an approach, a mentality of what you're going to go after, because otherwise you're going to just get completely lost and not know where to go and leave without the information you need.
And a few tchotchkes, and then you're done.
Yeah, and then your manager says, "Well, what did you find out?" And you show them the little robot that you twist the knob and it does the little dance, and he's just not very impressed with that.
I know what company's tchotchke you're referring to.
Sorry.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. We won't name names, but you know it if you've been at the HR Tech conference or some show in the last couple of years. What about for those of us who don't have the luxury of making it to Chicago and are approaching this maybe from online demos? How should they approach this in terms of what products they should consider demoing or where they can get started?
I mean, the danger for me is always like, how did you end up in that demo? It's the same concept as entering the expo hall, because they do demos in the expo hall too. How did you arrive at the Ultimate booth or the Ceridian booth, whatever, or Fairsail, any of those vendors? How did you actually get there? What thought went into it? How did you narrow it down to being in that demo? Because there's people's time is precious these days. So if you end up having to spend an hour or 2 hours on 20 demos, you've potentially wasted your time and you've confused yourself even more. So we try to help our clients get streamlined, narrow it down so you're not looking at 20 different products and actually, looking at specific requirements and how those line up with what's available.
So let's say that we're either of the two folks that I mentioned. We're either not going to the conference and we're going to be spending the next 20 hours on demos, or we're going to the conference and we want to either reach out to you either before the conference starts or afterwards to connect, and you can help them, kind of navigate this crazy space. Where can they go to learn more about you and connect with you?
Well, we're very active on Twitter, so that's one option. The company's Twitter handle is just HiveTechHR. I personally, you can reach out to me on Twitter. I'm the HCM guy, as in human capital management. So I'm also very active on there. Alternatively, you can send us an email, info@hivetechhr.com. And we're doing this last minute thing. I didn't even mention this to you yet, but we're going to try to send out a time bridge option for people to choose, some time slots at HR Tech to meet with us quickly for half hour, to just kind of, we call it 24/7. You just basically tell us for 24 minutes what's going on in your world. And then for 7 minutes, we tell you, what options you might have, where you might want to start from a vendor hall standpoint or demo standpoint. So that's an option that people have to try to get the information. I'll have a couple team members at HR Tech helping out with that.
So reach out with Jeremy on Twitter right away if you want to book some time with him and maybe sit on his couch and kind of work through your HR Tech challenges, opportunities, that sort of thing. We'll also try to put the link into the podcast transcript on Blogging for Jobs to direct you to that information as well. Jeremy, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, Jessica. If you have any questions that come up, just let me know. I'm going to be wandering Chicago, literally just trying to be an ombudsman. If I get no clients out of it, that's fine. I'll have learned too in the process. But the goal is, to try to help people make the right decisions so that they end up with the technology that they need.
I think that's half the battle. There's so many different choices and options out there right now. It's easy to get overwhelmed and frozen.
Yes, it's analysis paralysis, or you don't do enough analysis and you choose something that 2 years from now you're looking to replace. Unfortunately, we're in a few of those deals now where we're coming in as the savior to a bad selection project years ago, and that's also not ideal. So,
well, let's avoid that. Reach out to Jeremy if you're going to the HR Tech conference or you're not, and let's get you on the right path to choosing the right HR technology for your business. Today I'm joined with Stacy Chapman. She is the CEO and co-founder of Swoop Talent. Welcome to the Workology podcast, Stacy.
Hi, Jessica. Great to be here.
Walk us through a little bit about your background and how you came to work in human resources and technology.
So I've actually been working in human resources and technology for a little while now, to the point where Bill Kudick actually called me a veteran 5 years ago. And I can't really decide whether that is fantastically flattering or just kind of a little bit disturbing, but it's been about 30 years across everything from being an implementer, a practitioner, a strategy person at PeopleSoft. I was in workforce planning for a long time, and now I'm here at Swoop doing great things with data.
Well, talk to us a little bit about Swoop. I know we've had you on the podcast before. For maybe those who aren't familiar, walk us through what Swoop Talent is all about.
Well, we really are literally about data. I mean, I hope your listeners find data half as exciting as I do. But what we do is connect a whole lot of different data sets. I don't know if, as a recruiter, as a practitioner, you certainly know how many different systems people have to log into, how hard it is to get data migrated from one system to another system, just how many challenges there are getting a single view of a candidate. So what we do is connect all of the different systems that you have inside your enterprise. And Jessica, our customers have an average of 7, if you can believe it, but we connect all those, the ATS, the CRM, your spreadsheets, the old data that you were never able to migrate because the vendor made it so hard. All of those things get connected. And then even better, we automatically connect all of that data to each other, so you get a single view internally of what's happened with a person. And then we also connect it to all of the available external data. So if you think about the data that's out there in sort of licensing boards, there's the Society of Actuaries, there's GitHub and Stack Overflow and all kinds of places where really interesting and totally fresh, up to the minute data is kept about talent. Our platform automatically brings all that together for you. So when you're looking at a profile of a person, you're seeing everything that you possibly will need to see to help you engage more quickly, have better conversations, and do the things that recruiter time is really well spent on.
You're really providing a holistic view of the candidate that they can't get from, their ATS, the application, or the resume with all that social data.
That's exactly right. And our clients have done studies that show that on average you're going to save 11 and a half minutes per candidate by having our technology bring all that data to a single place than you having to go out and painstakingly hunt for it.
I think we could all use 11 and a half minutes. I mean, I know I could. I mean, times 100 or 1,000. I mean, that's amazing. And especially when you think about the sourcing function, or, well, not just the sourcing function, but the entire recruiting process and function, just trying to merge all that information together is, I don't know what the dollar realized saved, but it's mind-boggling, I think.
Well, and the thing about sourcing, Jessica, is that it is a really important part of quite a lot of companies. And what we do in our sourcing paradigm is, as well as having all your data included and more data about people who you've found in the past, your sources are also able to access the tens, hundreds of millions even of records that we're finding for them. So you've got a huge amount of talent data available to do sourcing, but we still have the model allowing your super smart sourcing humans, wow, that was a lot of S's, but we do, to be able to add data privately into the Swoop Talent Cloud, and our algorithms will go and look for more information about them constantly, but we'll never share it with other people. So you're kind of getting the 1 + 1 = 3 benefit of what our technology can find for you and what your smart humans can find for you, and everything that you've found in the past freshened up for you. So you've got this really effective sourcing database.
One of the things that I find interesting is just how sourcing has changed and really kind of been reinvigorated, I would say, in the last 3 to 5 years, maybe even 2. Talk about what makes Swoop Talent different than maybe some of the other sourcing technologies and options that talent acquisition professionals have as far as choices go.
Well, I think the breadth of the data set, so all the different places that we get it from and all the different ways you can access and use the data is a really big point of difference for us. But also because what we have is a data platform, we let you really personalize what you want to do. You know, for example, we've got a customer who's really interested in finding more diverse candidates, we can allow that. We have a partner where we can enable that. But some of our customers already have that nailed, so they don't want us to shove it down their throats. So it's the same thing with, are you interested in those algorithms that detect if someone's more interested in having a job? Well, if you are, we work with several providers who can help you do that. So we've really taken an approach that's like, what is the menu to make the best sourcing approach for you, rather than here is the single prescription we're going to provide. So we let you be able to incorporate all of your strengths and all of your needs into your overall sourcing approach, rather than trying to imagine that sourcing is one size fits all.
So this week is the HR Tech Conference. Where can people go to check out Swoop Talent and learn more about what you guys offer in terms of your technology?
You'll either have to hunt us down at one of our partners, and we partner with a lot of companies, you know, Talent Circles, Ascendify, Smashfly, all kinds of good companies. You'll find representation of us there, or else you'll have to hunt down TIFF, because we, shockingly this may seem, are giving the LRP's new talent acquisition conference a go this year with our booth instead of HR Tech.
And that's in October
or November. In Austin.
In Austin. Wow, man, I mean, I love Austin and I love you, so it sounds
I'll see you there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I guess we'll have barbecue and beer.
Sounds good. So swooptalent.com is also where they can go, aside from checking with partners and the LRP Talent Acquisition Conference in November.
Sure, and do come to swooptalent.com. We love to hear about people's data problems, because we can help.
And I think with the number of social profiles and all these talent acquisition technologies that we have, different systems, we need help unifying them and just making sense of all that information that's contained within those systems.
It's pretty amazing. We're in a bit of a data deluge, and I think being able to tame it is something that might just take away a few headaches from our recruiting community.
Well, thank you for joining this special edition of the Workology podcast. Stacey, I appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure, Jessica. Thanks very much.
I'd like to welcome Brady Bruner. He's the CEO and founder of Maximus Life to this final emerging HR technology interview. Welcome to the podcast, Brady.
Oh, thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about you and your background.
Yeah, so I come from a consulting background, have done global consulting with clients across all industries, but really have focused on people programs for my whole career. And really, it's been a lot of fun to see both the client side, and also now with Maximus Life, we're really getting into the individual people side of what drives behavior and help people succeed not only in the workplace but also in personal life.
Well, talk to us a little bit about Maximus Life. Like walk us through what it is, what it does, and how it can help HR or talent acquisition professionals in their jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. So Maximus Life is a software platform that really takes the pain out of staying active as an employee and makes it fun. And what we do is we help employers host activity-based campaigns for a charity. So we help not only the individual side of just staying active and achieving lifestyle goals. It could be walking 10,000 steps a day, or it could be eating healthy this week. It could be giving up sugar for 7 days. And we take those lifestyle activities that are many times hard to do and hard to incentivize employees to do, and we provide heart with it, and we give employers and employees the ability to overcome their lifestyle challenges for a good cause.
So the lifestyle challenges, what are some ways that those can help organizations and employees?
Yeah, great question. So the way that we help organizations is we connect people to a charity in a fun way, and all the fun actually gets people moving and gets people excited about helping a charity, while also connecting with their wellness programs and employee engagement programs that might be in place. We just do that in a really fun way. So, for example, you could quickly host a walk for poverty, for example, and have all the employees rally behind a specific cause while staying active. And, in today's age, the cause marketing is one of the fastest growing segments for companies, and we help HR programs plug directly into just getting people excited about not only staying active but also helping a charity at the same time. And we do that on mobile, so we try and make this really easy and plug into people's everyday activity, where it doesn't feel like another process or a program that HR is forcing. It actually becomes a fun part of life.
I love this, and I think that this is really innovative because you're taking social good, right, which we all want to do good, be better, and be able to implement or organize that in our workplaces as an employee-centric, business-centric activity. But then you add mobile on top of it, and it really makes it accessible to any person within your organization that is literally on the go or on the move.
Yes, that is the idea. We come from the HR side. We know that meetings are back-to-back. We know that people are busy, and the last thing that we need to do is add another process or program on top of it all. So we really want companies to have an avenue to make this really fun, and the best way that we knew how to do that was to just plug into mobile. And so we're on both the iOS App Store and Android. So we just want to make it fun and make it easy for companies to plug into social good and to run a campaign where employees can jump in and do something that not only helps them but also helps the brand and the company rally around a good cause.
So let's say somebody is listening right now and they're like, man, we're looking for something to do at our organization that's like this. Where do they go to connect with you to get some time to talk about Maximus Life and how they might be able to work with you?
Sure. The easiest way is just to hit maximuslife.com. You can hit the Contact Us link. You can send us an email at team@maximuslife.com. That's another way. Or you can just go to the App Store and check out the actual app itself. We have full support on web. So I would say for anyone listening that you want to run a campaign or do a pilot at your company, we'd love to hear from you, and you can find us at maximuslife.com.
Awesome. Well, Brady, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us, Jessica.
And thank you to you listening for joining the Workology podcast today as we end our special HR technology, innovative, and emerging tech series. The Workology podcast is where we discuss the science and art of the workplace, HR, and recruitment. This is Jessica Miller-Merrill. Until next time, you can visit Blogging for Jobs to listen to all our previous Workology podcast episodes.
Production services for the Workology podcast with Jessica Miller-Merrill provided by TotalPicture.com.